faced some of the best hitters in the country in the past few games. What have you learned from that, and what are you guys working on because you're going to face more?
Yeah, they're good. So are we. I don't know. It's always one of those things where it's going to be close matchups, and it's part of what the conference brings to you. And so it's, again, you're always trying to figure out how to score a few more points when it matters. And in this case, it's, we finish points 4 or 5 different ways. Where we have 2 wins against top 10 teams. So unfortunate how it rolled out, but at the same time, I said you can be proud and disappointed at the same time. It's okay. It's part of what we do. And you're going to have those, and you're going to lay it on the floor, and you're just going to fall short sometimes. So for me, it's just about getting back on it and back to it, and making sure we're prepared for this weekend's match and practice day and everything goes along with it.
Like you said, you're just a few points away. Is there anything in particular that you see?
No, I just asked the team after the match to make sure that they're just discussing, with themselves about what they can do to help the team. And I felt like the vibe and team chemistry has been good all year. And literally, it's a point here, a point there. It's not one thing. If it was one thing, it'd be a lot easier to fix. Sometimes it's just how the matchup presents itself. Sometimes it's how rotation works out. It's not always just that one thing, but we're trying to improve every single day we step on the floor. We're trying to do it with throwing different lineups out there too. So it can be difficult, but it's part of the job, and the girls are up to task for it.
Looking ahead to Maryland, you've already beaten them this year, so what are you going to make sure you can do the exact same way again, or what do you need to adjust to make sure you can continue to beat them?
Beat them again.
There you go. I like that.
No, it's I think when you play a team like this within a shortened time frame, usually you're not going to do a whole bunch different than what you did a few weeks prior. There's going to be adjustments that are made maybe on their end first. So usually you try to identify, we have a game plan. We always going to have a game plan. We see what they did the last few games, because you're going to make adjustments as the weeks go on. And we just got to make sure that we're, mindful of those adjustments they may make on us. And we obviously have to see if those same things work, going what we did. And if they continue to work, we're going to do them. I think that match in particular, I felt like we just executed really well. And so, whenever you get that, that's obviously something you're looking for. They put up a big block. They're a really good blocking team. They've improved a ton with their serve and their defense. And so it's really hard to score points on them. And I felt we did a nice job scoring points. They had a nice second set. They had a lead on us in the fourth, but then we went on I think a 6 or 7 point scoring round, and we were able to put them away. So we know they can play. They're always tough in their gym. And it's against another battle in the Big Ten.
And going back to this weekend, you guys were so resilient this weekend, and obviously even despite facing all that adversity, your team, you guys never gave up. What does that show that you can do against all these Big Ten teams that are obviously across the conference?
Yeah, I just told the team before we started practice today, it's a group that's feared across the conference, and if you look at results across the board, everyone's putting each other to the test right now. So we have to make sure we stay on the offensive. We have to make sure our mindset's correct, and that we have a positive mindset about what we're doing. And yeah, you should be hungry to try to figure out how to score those few more points, and everyone kind of likes to do their job to figure that part out.
Timetable getting for Jess his return at some point?
Yeah, day by day, we're trying to just get her back to being in a place where she can get in there, and don't have an exact one for you.
And Riley, Kyla, it just seems like you're a little fun right now.
Yeah, but it's just how the game goes, bounce bruises, and day by day for all of them. So.
Diana mentioned last week we talked about it seems like, not just this year, but like either an injury or like this entire pandemic kind of threw things in there. But just having a consistent lineup has been tough to get. Just how do you handle that?
We train everyone doing everything, not quite that way. Obviously, our liberos aren't playing middle, but of the people that hit, they're hitting on both pins, and they're playing outside and opposite, and vice versa. And middles are playing, each of the different rotations, hit off one leg, hit off two. Just trying to mix them around so they're used to each other. So when they are thrown into a game, it's not a surprise. It's not anything that's going to, be a shock to the person next to them, playing next to them. At the same time, it is a little bit different to gel some of your team out there if you are constantly mixing around. And they have to get used to, what it's like to go, play defense behind player X or player Y, or, what it's like to pass next to player X or player Y. So it's just one of those things where, yeah, obviously you'd rather not, be in a position where you're shuffling a lineup, but at the same time, it's a part of the game, it's a part of any sport, that you're going to have, those bumps and bruises, and you got to, from time to time, you got to shuffle in advance and just keep moving forward and hope that everything, runs smoothly. So, but we train that way. I think I trust anyone to go out there and do it, do the job, and we've seen that throughout the course of the season.
I mean, have you gotten to the point where you think about playing Sophie or Kari, or?
Yeah, for the most part, we try to keep our freshmen's eligibility. Try to run with the concept that most freshmen are going to redshirt, whether the fifth year stays here or not. It's to be determined. But yeah, if we need them, absolutely we'll play them. But we try to save the eligibility and making sure they get a proper run at it. And we have such a shortened fall camp that it gets tough for them to develop. But they're developing nicely. I wouldn't feel one way or another about putting them in, other than, like I said, I like to try to save eligibility for future years, not just for us but for them as well. If they want to go on and get a master's or grad school, whatever, they can do that.
I guess I haven't quite hit the midpoint yet, but just how's Kayla maybe stepped into a pretty significant role?
Yeah, she's done great. I mean, again, we look at improvement for every single player that's out there, and she's in a brand new role, brand new position. Has been doing it all of whatever we're in, 14 games now. And she's improving every single game. She's still understanding the position and seeing what it's like to go against, a different block, a bigger block, a smaller but a faster block. I mean, she's still getting used to all those scenarios, and she's been doing a great job of learning that position. And she still has a ways to go, but she knows that, and she's just working hard every day to advance her game and get, add another shot to her toolbook, add her service game, play defense, all these things that we train everyone to do, and what she came here to do. She's learning every single day, and it's tough to do that in a shortened period of time, but she's doing a good job of improving every single week.
What did you see or may like about just the idea of moving her into opposite?
Yeah, we recruited her back in the day, and when we were recruiting her back in the day, it was like, well, we knew she was a good middle, but we also look for middles that have potentials to be opposite. So, I never planned to have this many middles on my roster, but it's the way it worked out because they're all good in the middle. And so, she's got size, she's got length, her arm swing is built to be an opposite, and she's got the mentality that she wants to be out there and go play pro when she's done. So, happy to have that as well.
So, to me, when the recruitment the second time around.
Yeah, well, our rules changed quite a bit ago in terms of when we recruit eighth graders. Back when it was like that. Excuse me. It changed to recruiting juniors, so she kind of got caught in that commitment frenzy before that rule changed, and so she made a choice, and she doesn't regret her decision. And at the time we just didn't pull the offer. We didn't put an offer out there, I should say. And she ended up committing, and that's just the way it went. So when we talked again, and we didn't talk a ton in the previous cycle, but when we talked again, it was we had some knowledge of each other, and it was made for easier conversation. And she just liked what we had to offer and wanted to play in the Big Ten.
It's been a couple years since 2 or 3 years since the change. Has it worked as many of the coaches thought or hoped it would?
I think overall, I think it's about what people think. I think the COVID years has a lot to do with what's going on with transferring and stuff like that, because now you got kids who can stay a fifth year and they might still have 2 years of eligibility if they haven't redshirted yet either. So that's definitely changed what's going on. I think we still have 2 more years where we're going to deal with that, but it's just a part of the process, and everyone's dealing with it. It's not like our rules are different than someone else's rules. So it's just a part of dealing with changing times, and everyone's doing as best they can and making sure that we just handle it as best we can.
How about not recruiting middle schoolers anymore?
Not really. That's a plus. That's a definite plus. So pretty hard to try to sometimes when you're in 8th grade and you're 6'2" and already touching 10 feet, that's a no-brainer. But some of the other ones, it can be tough. So I think you need to allow the kids to be kids and let them develop without us looking at them when they're in middle school. So it's been good from that perspective. I think you see a lot more players develop better. You see them make a lot better choices because they go on their visits now Whereas before they wouldn't, not that they wouldn't go on a visit, but everything was unofficial. So now we can bring them on official visits, and you can take 4 or 5 visits and get a real comparison of different schools. So I think it's worked out for the better. I would even change it to we can't even commit people to their seniors, but that's just me. That's very old school. So
All right.
yeah,
Thanks, everyone.
yeah, thanks.
Thank you.